Virginia wineries, they are so up and coming, and I'm at like the best 5-star one in our area right now. Hey, it's Robyn Burdett with Robyn Burdett Real Estate Group, and I am so excited today to be here at Stone Tower Winery in Leesburg, and right off of 15. This, to me, is like the epitome of Napa coming to Virginia. It's rolling hills, it's beautiful, and the views are only complemented just by how fantastic their wines are. So I'm thrilled today to have my wonderful friend Lacey here. You are the Vice President of Stone Tower
Winery. Yeah.
So you handle about everything here.
I have my hands a little bit in everything, and that's what I love so much about the wine business in general is, you know, to start the day, we're farmers. So we're out there in the field growing grapes, and then we come to the production side. So we're actually making all of our wine here on site, and then we've got to sell it. So we have an amazing sales team, tasting room that's really bustling, and a big events program. So I help orchestrate all of those different pieces, and it's a lot of moving parts. So a lot of fun.
Well, and if you've not been here, that's why I'm bringing you here, is because of the fact that this is such an unusual location. It's not one that you normally see, a standalone way out in the middle of nowhere. So, Lacey, how did you guys get here? Why did you choose this?
Yeah, so this is my family's property, and my grandparents bought the farm next door in 1975. So they purchased 1,400 acres and have been here ever since. They run a horse farm and also raise cattle. Wow. And then this property here was a neighboring cattle farm that went up for sale about 15 years ago, and my parents had always had their eye on it just because of that view. It's a stunning piece of land.
And you could kind of see it back here. That's why we chose this place right here.
And so they bought it, and they knew they wanted to do something in agriculture to keep this as, you know, preserve the farmland that's here. So, and they love wine. And with all of the rolling hills, like you were mentioning, they had traveled all over and loved visiting wineries. Was one of their favorite things to do. And so just looking at this property, they thought, you know, kind of had that gut instinct that this would be a good place to grow grapes. And then talked to a lot of people who actually know what they're doing, and viticulturist consultants and other vineyard and winery owners in Virginia, did a ton of research. And it turns out we have an amazing site here for growing grapes.
I always hear people say, you have $1 million to lose, start a winery. So this is a huge undertaking. It's a huge undertaking. Now, and I know your parents like wine, but how did you decide where and what to grow?
My parents, they love wine, but they also love business. And that's really their true passion. So they started Belfort Furniture together 30 years ago and built that company up from really, you know, they were working out of a warehouse, didn't have any heat. You can, grab a glass of wine with Mike Huber sometime here at Stone Tower, and he'll tell you the whole story from start to finish. But they wanted to, so they had this dream of growing grapes, watching them grow, building a house here with this beautiful view. But when you look at the financials of that, it's very tricky to just grow grapes and turn a profit and have a sustainable business off of that model. So we, through a lot of research, decided that becoming a 10 to 15,000 case estate winery would really be something that could sustain itself as a profitable business over time. A ton of upfront investment for sure, but this is really more of a legacy project to preserve the farmland and pass it on to future generations like me, which I'm very grateful for. This is an amazing dream.
You have how many acres?
Stone Tower is on just over 306 acres here.
Wow. And so just to give an idea, if you were to cultivate all this land, 15, how many thousand cases?
Yeah, so we, right now we have about 85 acres planted to grapes, and we'll grow that to about 115 or so, and that should be able to do that 15,000 case mark, if not a little bit more.
Wonderful. Wow. And so are you half white, half red, or how's it split up?
Yeah, so we, in the vineyard, we're planted to about 60% reds, 40% whites, and once that all shakes out in the winery, as we're producing everything, because they're made a bit differently, will be about 50, about half and half red and white.
Very cool. Very cool. So when you're choosing what to grow and the different areas that you have here, how do you choose? I mean, you mentioned viticulture. Do they come out and advise you, or do you guys just say, wait, Chardonnay, which we happen to enjoy, is really doing well this year, so we want to have more Chardonnay, or weather, or what? How do you decide?
Yeah, so really when you're planting new vineyards, you're hoping, the goal is to plant these vines and have them live there for the next 25 to 30 years is generally the lifetime. So it's a big, upfront, you want to be sure that, you're planting the right things in the right soils. And then also the major things are the soils. So right here, we are lucky that it's quite rocky here for the most part, and so the soils are very well draining. If we had a lot of clay in the soils, which keep a lot of moisture, then we would plant a different vine there than on a gravelly soil. So that's really what you're looking for to start. And then also with the hills and the different aspect of the sun, that really will affect the temperature and of those different vineyard sites. So you want to grow a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Noir, those lighter, fresher grapes. Speaking to the taste of them, those really do much better in cooler sites. Your Cabernet Sauvignon is a thicker skinned, really bold red. That needs to have a warmer site than those others. So there's a lot of different factors that go into choosing which vines go where and what'll grow best.
Well, as I mentioned before, one of the great things about this, and for those of you that know Virginia wines, there's this like old tale. If you have a great view, not great wines. If you have no view, good wines. So this is one of the few places in Northern Virginia where it's a 10 on both. The views are outstanding. The wines are spectacular. But one of the things that they've really done is build up the property with great buildings that invite people here, not only just on Saturdays and Sundays, but for events. So Lacey, tell me more about what all you have here on the property.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first opened our tasting room in 2013, we started off in our harvest barn, which is this beautiful, really open, classic barn. And we've kept that open over time, introducing a new tasting room onto the property too. So the harvest barn has remained, it's family friendly, pet friendly, so you can bring your dog, bring a picnic, the kids, super fun and relaxed, kind of casual atmosphere, but same tastings, same wine as we have over here in the Tower View tasting room, which is an adults only space. So it's for guests 21 and older, a little bit of a different feel in terms of construction and the ambiance here, but both great places to come and spend an afternoon. And in addition, we also offer some really great experiences. So I love doing our vineyard and winery tour. So that is, we do a full tour of the property, and you really get to see the behind the scenes work that we do as well. So that's a fun thing, especially if you've maybe casually visited wineries, done tastings, but really want to get to know a little bit more of the nitty gritty, how wine is really made and what this handcrafted product that we create, how that happens from, vine to glass is a really fun thing to do.
Friends of ours, Katie and Jeff, just came out to it. We've been to numerous wine tastings here, the seminars, where we're learning different things from Jeremy, who's fantastic, and teaching us about the different wines. But they came out and did your experience, and they said they had no idea. It was really, really, just really informative, and they're so glad that they did it. Which is one reason why we're doing this, is because I think that people need to experience more about the wine and know more about how it works here. So, along with that, there is a whole list, and you could go to their website and seriously sign up and come out and experience it and try it. But one of the great things is you do events. weddings. How many weddings do you have here?
Yes. So we love doing the weddings because it's so much fun to be a part of, people's their happiest day. And so that's a big piece of what we do. So we do about 90 of those a year, but just one a day. I actually got married here this past September, and I had to get married on a Sunday. Didn't have to. Well, I guess I should rephrase that. I got married on a Sunday, which ended up being a great day because you have the whole weekend before to hang out and have a good time. But because all of our Sundays here at Stone Tower were booked.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's that is a great piece of what we do, and then we also do really any sort of celebration. We love hosting. So we do bridal showers and birthday parties and anniversaries, and we also it's a great place too for corporate meetings and parties too, but also retreats, just because we're so close, very easy to get to, but you get out here and your team can just really have a breath of fresh air, and it's a very very relaxing place to get some hard work done and then have a good glass of wine afterwards.
So I just kind of want to wrap up, because you guys have been doing this for now how many years? You guys been starting this?
Yeah, so really the research aspect and kind of figuring things out started in 2007.
Okay.
And then we planted our first vines in 2009. So 10 years in that.
Wow.
And then, opened the barn in 2013 and been
going
rolling
since.
Ever since, for
So
sure.
for those people, and this is one question I always ask, because it always looks glamorous, very romantic to own a winery. I mean, you go to these places and you're thinking, wow, I would love to be able to have my own bottle of wine every night and have all my friends come and meet and greet and tell everybody about it. But it's a lot of work, as you've been telling us all that you do. But what big lessons have you learned in the 10 to 12 years now, from starting the first vines to being currently open and selling? Do you have one or two big aha moments that it was like, wow, if I was to ever tell anybody, this is something they should do?
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's a two-pronged thing, is do your research for sure, and just really look at your property and what you can do there. Talk to more people than you could even think of. Get different opinions, because different people will tell you totally different things about what you should plant, if you should host weddings, everybody, and then really come up with the plan of what you want to do, and how you're gonna make that happen through the long term, not just the short term, because wine is especially, and it's an investment not only in dollars and cents, but also in time, because from planting that first vine to drinking a bottle of those grapes is at least 5 years. So that's a long process.
It's a long
there.
span.
But then have your plan, but then also be flexible, because times change very quickly now. So it's important to really hear what your customers, what your guests are saying, and in order to make the experience as enjoyable as it can for people. And then also the last thing would be is the most important part of building a business is building your team, because you can't do everything yourself. And so that's been the biggest not lesson for us, but just the biggest driver of how we've been able to grow and become successful in what we've been doing, is just building our team is amazing. And we wouldn't be here at all without them. So.
And I can second that. Every time we come out here, I'm just top service. Everybody is very welcoming and concerned and want to make sure that you're having a good time, and questions answered, anything you need, everybody's always here to help. So, well, Lacey, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here and getting to explain to everybody about Stone Tower Winery. It definitely is a must-be place on your list. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.